Well, good evening and welcome to All Sports All Plays Network. This is Sports Talk with Freddie and Chris. And today I'm joined by special guest, Mr. Darren Smith. He is a reporter and a radio show host for the Kansas City Chiefs. We're also joined by Mr. Rich Kimler. He's a special guest of mine. He's actually my boss father-in-law. Then we're joined by the wonderful Chris Brown. And then we're joined by Mr. Big Shaw. How are you guys doing, gentlemen?
Oh, everything's going good. Thanks for having me.
Going well. Thank you so much for having me this evening.
Doing good. Cannot complain at all.
All right. Like I said, we have a busy show for you today. Let's get right into it. Mr. Shaw, Mr. Smith, how about you introduce you to everybody, let them know what you do and all your credentials, my friend.
Well, thank you again for having me on. Darren Smith here in Kansas City. I am a on-air talent for Sports Radio 810 WHB in Kansas City, along with ESPN Kansas City. So, and I also produce a Chiefs pregame show. We'll be doing so within the next week for 101 The Fox here in Kansas City, as well as do a Chiefs postgame and pregame report for Magic 107 FM here in Kansas City. So I do a whole lot. I cover the Chiefs, the Royals, sport in Kansas City, KU football and basketball, and boxing and wrestling events when I decide to do so. So do a lot of traveling, and I just love what I do.
All right, cool. Well, we're glad to have you on. Mr. Rich, we'll start with you. How long have you been a Kansas City Chiefs fan?
Well, I'm 70 years old, and so 70 years.
There you go.
Through a lot of lean years.
There you go. Do you have any questions that you would like to ask Mr. Smith, or any statements or anything like that?
You're with the 610 in Kansas City?
No. 810. Sports Radio 810.
WHB?
Yes, sir. We don't want to get that confused.
Right. Yeah, WHB.
Yes, sir.
Yeah.
All right, cool. So, Mr. Smith, I just want to know, you took the Kansas City Chiefs led by Patrick Mahomes. What was the emotions like during last year? Everybody thought, they would be the favorites, but them actually doing it, what was their thoughts going through the season? Like when it's time to go to the playoffs and it's getting closer to the Super Bowl and them finally winning it.
Well, I'll tell you, it was a roller coaster ride, so to speak. So 2 years ago, let's just start there. Patrick's full year, he won the MVP. They started out real good. I was at the game. Well, I was at all the games on the road. It was supposed to be in Mexico City, but ended up getting moved to L.A. when the Chiefs played the Rams, and that was a 54-51 game that the Rams had won. But they scored 105 points in 60 minutes of game with no overtime. So that was interesting. I mean, you kind of knew them, but you kind of had a feeling even before that game that this was a special team that if the opportunity presented itself, if they could get home field advantage or something to that kind, this could be a team that could, if rematched against the Rams in the Super Bowl, could pull it off. They had home field advantage, but they got off to a slow start, used a lot of energy to tie the game up and get into overtime, and then during that time period, the Patriots ended up winning. So I honestly believe that the fact that they lost instead of won, it gave them a little bit more motivation, because if it felt like it came easy, you wouldn't have a chance to appreciate it. So the fact that they were able to lose and get so close, where they should have won that game, but D4 jumped off sides, and so if he doesn't do that, the team is in the Super Bowl, and whatever happens. But the fact that they were able to do that, to go there, they were able to know what it was like to get that close and have it snatched from under them, and they know that there's no guarantee. So they always felt that when last year came about, they wanted to try to complete the task, and so they had that bitter taste in their mouth throughout training camp, and they knew go in each week just one game at a time. Next thing, right after that, of course, Patrick went down with the injury in Denver, missed a couple of games, and people didn't know how bad it was. Thankfully, he wasn't out for the season, just dislocated knee. They popped it back in, and everything was good. Once you got to the playoffs, and again, everything happens for a reason. Miami going to New England week 17, knocking them off, where the Chiefs were the number 3 seed, would have had to go on the road, in the second round or whatever, because they would have hosted the first game. But the fact that New England lost that game moved the Chiefs up to the number 2 seed. They had a bye, and then Tennessee knocking off Baltimore in the second game gave Chiefs home field advantage without ever getting on the football field. So everything started working in their favor. Now, I'll be honest, they trailing 24-0 against the Texans. I don't know what was going on, but the fact that they were able to come back, and once they came back from that deficit and to win 51-31, there was no doubt that they could be down any type of deficit and come back and win. Same happened the following week in the AFC Championship game where they were down 10-0, but everybody felt that once Kansas City scored and they got a chance to get on top, they weren't going to relinquish it. Super Bowl, that was kind of different because it got late to the ball. I'm like, hold on now, we trailing we trailing. I don't know, we ain't got that much time left, but for them to score, I think it was 21 points within 6 minutes. You know, there's nothing impossible with this team and with these players. And the fact that this is one key stat that I got to bring out. Patrick has never, as the starting quarterback, he's never lost a game by more than 7 points. So that lets you know that the team is always in a game. So as long as he's a quarterback right now, you can't blow this team out because they always have, you know, something up their sleeve, and they're always in a ball game.
All right, cool. Yes, sir. All right, Chris.
Mr. Smith, when I look at this Kansas City Chiefs team, you know, head coach Andy Reid, my guy, I love him. Led by the best quarterback in the game, Patrick Mahomes, explosive offense, you know, the top guys on defense, the Chris Jones, the Tyrann Matthews. But in your opinion, who do you think is going to have the breakout season? Somebody that, you know, people aren't looking at. They don't know how good he can be, but somebody's going to have a big impact for this Kansas City Chiefs team.
The rookie, Clyde Edwards-Helaire. No, and the reason why I say that because you have all the same players that are coming back on offense, all the wide receivers and the tight ends. Granted, you got 4 tight ends this year, but I honestly believe that adding this rookie running back, and you know the world saw what he did on Thursday night. It adds another element, another weapon for Andy Reid in this offense. Look, I love the 2018 team when they had Kareem Hunt. I think, you know, with Kareem Hunt doing what he did and the team dismissing him, I think that also played a role in Kansas City not beating New England in the AFC Championship game. I think that he was a factor to where, yeah, you double Tyreek and you double Kelsey, but you didn't have an answer for this kid or for that kid Kareem Hunt. I think this time around, again, you got the same players back. If you know, look, the Texans, they try to double Tyreek most of the game, and who killed you? You know, the running game. And the Chiefs, with that balanced attack, 35 minutes time of possession, you don't have enough time. You know, now that's the difference between Kansas City and everyone else. Kansas City can strike quick. They can score. They can score 1-2 plays out, and you don't know what hit you, and that becomes a game changer. Other teams don't really have that type of firepower where, you know, you don't have, you know, the Chiefs have 25 minutes of time of possession. They can still outscore you. So that's the difference between this Kansas City Chiefs team and the opponents that they're going to be facing this coming up season.
That's cool. Hey, Big Shaw, do you have a question for him?
Yes, sir. And but how you doing today, sir?
Good. Thank you.
Well, my question is this: is a quick question. Clyde Edwards-Helaire, he shocked me. He played real good. So, do you think he can keep it up through this long season?
Yeah, because you got to remember. I mean, you know, playing at school to one national title, LSU. I see you got the Alabama shirt on, so you know how to.
Yeah,
yeah, you know what I'm saying. But I had to come for you on that one because Alabama's been letting me down the last years. But no, in all seriousness, I think he'll be fine simply because, you know, playing for LSU, I mean, he's been able to play deep into the playoffs last year. So I mean, he played into January. So I don't think it's going to be anything different. I think they played 15 games last year. You know, he started off 15 games. So I think it's just it's a smoother transition for him, especially in that running back position. You're able to, you're able to transition from high school to college and college to the NFL, and he played in a pro style offense at LSU. So I don't think the wear and tear of the season, because look, he's not asked to be the bell cow, but he can be if need be, as the game showed on Thursday night. So again, if you want to run the ball, they can run the ball with Clyde, and I mean they can beat you on the ground, and if need be, they can beat you in the air. So basically, a matter of pick your poison.
That's awesome. Hey, Rich, do you have a question for Mr. Smith?
Yeah. How I think everyone was pleasantly surprised with the new corner Sneed. He really performed well the other day, and now with Ward having fractured hand, do you see him having to even step in and be the number one now?
Well, we talked about that with Andy Reid today during this presser. We'll know more by Wednesday. So I don't want to speak up on that because there's reports that Travarius could continue to play with the soft cast. Look, Snead played well on Thursday. I think he had an interception. When that was forced when Tyrann Matthews went after Deshaun Watson. So I mean, I think, well, put it like this. In Kansas City, we believe in the Patriots mentality of next man up. So, if he has an opportunity, that's what you got drafted for. That's how you made the team. I think that they'll be able to do a good job.
All right, cool. So, Mr. Smith, we know what they did last
You
year.
just call me Darren. Just call me
Okay, I'm
Darren.
sorry. All right, you seen what happened last year. They won the Super Bowl. This year's a new year. You are in the AFC. Tom Brady's not there anymore. You do have a dude by the name Lamar Jackson. You have a team by the Tennessee Titans. Is there any team out there that this Kansas City Chiefs team should be worried about?
Well, I got them going 19-0, so I would say no personally. But if I wanted to just give some teams a chance, yeah. Well, look, they'll in just 2 weeks they'll face Baltimore in a Monday night matchup, so we can follow back up on that after that game takes place. But I'd say there's 4 games to watch out for. Well, maybe 5. I know some people give Buffalo a shot. I don't, but I guess we want to give them a little respect. We can do that. You don't know what Bill Belichick is going to do. Now they come to Kansas City with Cam Newton, so we don't know how that's going to play out. So that could be a factor. And then I do believe the Saints as well as the Bucks. I think those are 2 late season games. I know the Bucks is the weekend, the Sunday after Thanksgiving, and then the Saints are the 20th, I believe, in December. So those are the 2 games as you get closer to the end of the season. But usually you have to play your best football as you get to December towards the playoffs, towards the end of the season. So I mean, those are the 4 maybe 5 games, I guess, that you could say could trip the Chiefs up. But it's hard for me to see them going 11-5. The makeup of this team, knowing that they want to build a dynasty. It's hard to build a dynasty when you go 11-5. I mean, look, you still win the Super Bowl, but I just don't see the makeup of this team with as many weapons as they have outside of injuries. It's hard for me to see them, going anything worse than 14-2.
Okay. With that being said, you have a dude by the name Patrick Mahomes, and
My homeboy.
he just got the big payday. Have his mentality or mindset or attitude changed any, or is it about the same, or is it maybe improving?
I would say it's improved now as it relates to what happens on the field. No, I mean he's the same person. I mean he just, he's someone that's involved in the films. He, Andy, Eric Bieniemy, he's always, I mean he's coachable. Look, man, this dude is cut from a different cloth because he was fortunate of growing up with his father, Pat Mahomes Sr., to where his father was a Major League Baseball player, so he's been inside locker rooms and seeing that contract stuff have been negotiated and done, and just seeing players with the egos and stuff like that. So he knew at a young age, what type of player he wanted to be if he ever got a chance to play in the big leagues. And so, no, Patrick is cut from a different cloth. This dude is literally the kindest person. I see him all the time at the barber shop. We get our heads cut. We have the same barber, and generally I have a stand appointment right before he does on Friday. So even if I don't get a chance to see him, because of the COVID, so we're doing all this stuff by Zoom and stuff now, I still see him at the barber shop. So no, he's a good guy. I mean, he signed a contract extension for $500 million, and it still hasn't changed him. He's good. I mean, obviously he can buy a few more things, like be a part owner of the Royals, but you know what I'm saying? But he's still the same person when, and I say that he's improved because in the offseason, he decided to take a stand and to pick a side, I guess, if you want to say, when it comes to supporting Black Lives Matter and the things that happened with George Floyd and the voter registration, stuff like that. So that was something that he wasn't as involved in before this year. And, this year, he knew the platform and the responsibility that fell on his shoulders, being a Super Bowl MVP and the new face of the NFL, and he wanted to utilize it in the manner of how LeBron James uses his platform.
All right, Chris.
How big of an impact does Tyrann Mathieu have on his defense? Because when I look at him, I feel like everywhere he goes, he makes impact, but I don't think he gets the credit he deserves. Started at LSU, then at Arizona, then in Houston. Now he's in Kansas City. And to me, he's one of, if not the best safeties in his game. But I feel like he's very undervalued, underappreciated. So how big of an impact does he have on his Kansas City defense?
Well, first of all, I got to say, you kind of look like Tyrann, and just a little bit. So, but no, Tyrann, Tyrann's a good person, man. It's funny. I'm actually in negotiations trying to host a show with him. He wants to, I've been told by his people he wants to do a radio show here in Kansas City. He only wants to do it with a black host. It's only myself and another person, and that person, has already been booked or whatever. So we'll see what happens with that. But that being the case, no, Tyrann, look, one, he's been very influential, not only on the defense, but in the community. I mean, Kansas City is truly his second home. And, he has grown tremendously from his time at LSU when he came. And obviously, he had issues when he first came into the league with weed and some other stuff. And then, of course, injuries and stuff like that. No, he is just as important to the defense as Patrick is to the offense. And in the community, I mean, he's second to none. Again, it's, in this city, it used to be Salvi and then whoever else, but now it's Patrick, then Tyrann, Chris Jones, maybe Frank Clark, Travis Kelce, and then then maybe you get to somebody from the Royals or Sporting Kansas City. So no, Tyrann is big. Mayor has him at events and stuff with him. He's the real deal.
All right, Rich.
Let's talk about Brett Veach. What kind of impact do you really see him making in the last year?
I mean, look, man, the only other person I know who has turned water into wine existed a little over 2,000 years ago. This man took $177 salary cap and somehow found almost $750 million of contract extension money to keep their best players around. Brett Veach, in Veach I trust. I don't really, last couple of years everybody's like, "Oh, why don't you go get Patrick Peterson or whoever?" No, I mean, pretty much. He and Andy Reid, they have both earned the contract extensions that they're going to get, and whatever Veach decides to do, hey, I don't even bother questioning no more. I mean, look, got us one of these, I'm good.
Mm-hmm. Yep,
I'm good.
Yeah.
Hey, all right, Big Shaw.
Yes, sir. I have one more. What do you rank Patrick Mahomes among the quarterbacks right now?
Ooh, that's easy.
Oh, that's number one.
Number one?
Yeah.
That's easy, I guess.
All right. That's
I asked that because last night a few of my friends who was debating that, some say it's Aaron Rodgers, then it's Tom Brady, then it's Patrick Mahomes. So I was like,
well, no. If you talk about all the time, that's different. But I mean, you just talking about right here, right now.
Yeah.
No. Right. I mean, right now, I think he's still at the top of the game. I know they've ranked him for the last couple of seasons. That's what it is. But but look, I mean, after what you've seen over the last two seasons and then going to the third, any GM would tell you right off the bat that if you're drafting, if you're starting a new franchise, you're starting with Patrick. That's just not that's a no-brainer.
Yeah.
And I would say Patrick, then Deshaun, then maybe Lamar, and then Russell Wilson. So
Hey, Big Shaw, I'm a huge Aaron Rodgers fan, but trust me.
Well, look, Anyway, well, no. I mean, the reason why I don't say Aaron, because I mean, just say he's been there, 10, 12 years now. So that's all I'm just talking about right now. But I mean, look, obviously what he did Sunday for a touchdown, I'm not going to take nothing away from him, but I'm just saying if you were to start a franchise today,
Yeah.
I mean, if Patrick wasn't there, yeah, Aaron Rodgers would probably be in the top 2, top 3. But because you got Patrick and Deshaun, it's hard when you got youth and you got that athleticism on your side.
Yeah, he's a beast.
Yeah, so that takes nothing away from him, but just again trying to answer your question.
All right, you guys, let's ask the last round of questions. I kind of have 2 questions for you. One is not football because I seen a post on one of your page, and I respect you for it because a lot of people not calling them out, but I'm gonna ask that second. You had Tom Brady and what they done with the with the New England Patriots. They was a dynasty. They won 6 Super Bowls. They was a dynasty for this decade. Do you think we see this Kansas City Chiefs team doing the same thing that the New England Patriots did, or maybe even better, maybe more than 6?
Look, I'm old school, man. Let's just win 2 for. Let's go back to back first before we. I love Tyreek, and I've said something to Tyreek and Chris Jones on the Zoom calls about the dynasty talk. Because one, Andy Reid would have never allowed it, but look, okay, if we look out far when Aaron Rodgers won his first title, people thought he would continue to go back, that type of talent and stuff like that. I do believe that the Chiefs have a better chance, especially in the salary cap era, because they're locking up their key players long term, and then those other players like a McCole Hardman and Clyde Edwards-Helaire, you got them on their rookie deal, so you can kind of tag them and kind of spread them out a little bit, and so you have your weaponry. You can have it for a period of time, and then they can always go back and restructure contracts to keep the people here. And Patrick has it to where he wants to continue to be surrounded by great players, even his current teammates. So he's wanting to go back and restructure. He's not trying to take all the money. Yeah, he has $500 million. It's still team friendly. But if he doesn't see the life of it, it doesn't matter because he wants more than one of these. And so if that's what it takes, that's the sacrifice he's willing to make. So he's willing to go the Tom Brady route, even though people don't like it because you may be setting the market back. You can't worry about the next man's wallet, and you can't worry about other teams. You have to worry about your dynasty, what you want to do. I do believe that they can if they stay healthy. I mean, health is always a factor, so we take that because Brady, the only season he really got injured was the year after the 2007 when they went 18-1, and the Chiefs injured him. He was out for the season. But other than that, I think he's always played minus the 4 games he was suspended. So if Mahomes can have a career like that, yes, I could see because Andy Reid's not going nowhere either. So so that being the case, yeah, I really like their chances to win at least. Now let's say over the next 5 years, I can see them winning at least 2 more, if not 3.
All right, and my second question was, and I seen your post on Facebook.
I don't know which one, but okay.
All right, we had the Lakers in the Western Conference Finals waiting for the Clippers, but this Clippers team have lost to this Denver Nuggets team. Now, if this was the Lakers, would they be like the Clippers have not been held accountable like the Lakers do? Do you think that this Clippers team have been held accountable differently than the Lakers would be, and why do you think that?
No. I mean, honestly, I think a lot of people do the whole Skip Bayless thing where they try to separate what LeBron does from what everybody else is going on or has going on. I think I think my guy Shannon Sharp makes a lot of good points when you talk about the Clippers, where you got all these quote unquote defensive players, and yet you've blown a 28 and a 19-point lead respectively against the Denver Nuggets where you couldn't seem to, close out those games. And so, you got somebody like Skip Bayless who's now trying to crown the Lakers as the new world champions like they're going to lose. Look, they still have to play tomorrow night, so we have to see how that unfolds. But no, I mean, LeBron is held to, and look, I understand he's held to a different standard because he came into the league coming out of high school wanting to be quote unquote the chosen one, and compared to Michael Jordan. Now, of course, his game is more comparable to Magic Johnson, but because he can also score and almost score at will, and he's been to a number of finals, they try to compare him to Michael Jordan. I would still compare him to Magic. Magic's been to the finals 9 times. He's 4 and 5. LeBron is 3 and 6 with a chance to at least be 3-7 or 4-6, depending on what happens next week and over the next month or so. So obviously, but to whom much is given, much is expected. So I don't think LeBron James would ever trade places with anyone else with what he's able to do. And look, if you want to be the best, you got to beat the best. And LeBron is still the best player in the NBA when it all boils down to it.
I definitely agree. Hey, Rich, I'll let you go next.
All right. The rookie Durant, do you see him being a tackle or a guard?
A tackle. Yeah, I'm sorry, I don't have vertical, but yeah, I look at him being a tackle. But I will say the one thing about the Chiefs and how they coach their players, they coach them up to play each and every position because especially after what you saw last year with how decimated the line were, you were moving guards to tackles and vice versa. So that's the one thing. That's the one thing that even the line coaches have said, that we coach our players up to play every position on the line because you never know when it's going to be needed.
All right, cool. All right, Big Shaw.
Oh yeah, I've never been to Arrowhead Stadium a day of my life, but I've been to Cincinnati and Cleveland before. Is Arrowhead Stadium really the loudest stadium in the NFL?
Well, the fact that they have the Guinness Book of World Record, I would have to say yes. I don't think there's any debate about that part.
Yeah.
So yes, it is the loudest. Look, I was at the game for the season opener Thursday, and even with 16,000 fans, it was still loud. Like they drew the Houston Texans offsides because of their. No, I'm sorry, they had a false start because of the crowd noise. So yeah, it definitely is. We get about it up here.
All right, Chris, I'll let you take it home, my bro.
Okay, I like Kansas City's roster. They have all the weapons in the world.
Facts.
They signed up all their main guys. But when I look at Denver, they added some pieces on that team. Now we all know Kansas City is going to be the favorite, but how do you think those two will match up? Even without Von Miller, they still, improved on defense. They went out, they got a Melvin Gordon, they got a rookie Jerry Jeudy. How do you think they will match up? Obviously everybody has Kansas City winning, but I think this Denver team might be able to surprise some people this year.
I think they'll surprise some people, but they won't surprise Kansas City. I look, I'm gonna just be honest. You can't improve and you don't have Von Miller out there. That's taking nothing away from what they did organizationally. But when you lose a Von Miller, that pays a heavy price. And I'm looking forward to see what they do later on tonight when they host the Tennessee Titans. But that being the case, look, one thing I will give Kansas City is that they don't look past teams that they play on the schedule. So when it comes time for them to bring the Broncos in town or they travel to Denver, they're going to expect. Well, look, when you're Super Bowl champion, you expect everybody's best when you play them, and so that's what I expect to have happen. I don't think that we're going to look. Drew Lock is a hometown kid. Andy Reid, I think, coached at Missouri at one time. I think with his father or something. So, and Drew Lock had a decent game when they came to Kansas City last year, so they know what to expect. And look, and as a division rival, you pretty much always know one another anyway. So, but I think coaching has a lot to do with things as well. And again, I'll trust Andy Reid versus whoever else that the team is going up against right now.
All right. Well, Darren, we appreciate you.
You're welcome.
It's an honor to have you on here. We are a new network. We're about 2-3 weeks strong, and to have somebody of your caliber of a reporter that covers the team, trust me, we do not take that lightly.
I appreciate it.
Yes, so Rich, we'd like to thank you for joining the show as well. We know that as soon as Josh heard that Mr. Darren was coming on the show, you've been looking forward to this because you've been waiting, like you said, for years.
Thank you for letting me be here.
Yes, sir. No problem. Well, you guys have a good night. All right.
All right. Thank you very much. And, feel free to have me on anytime. Thank you so much.
Yes,
Thank you.
Man, what an interview.
Yeah.
That was good, man.
Yes, sir. Well, as much as I would hate to do this, let's get right into it. We'll first start with our Monday night preview.
Mhm.
First game we had on tonight was the New York Giants and the Pittsburgh Steelers. I guess I'll start it. You know, this was the most anticipated game for me to see. Yeah, as of yesterday, I thought the Eagles was lost against the Washington football team.
I'm crying.
The Cowboys lost the night game against the Rams.
Mhm.
I said, man, this is a good opportunity for my Giants. If we was gonna do what I said we was gonna do, man, this is the time. We started off looking real good, you know. My dude Danny Dimes, he made the first pass, bang. Saquon Barkley, you really haven't got it going yet as of yet. I mean, the game is still going. I mean, defensive, I'm kind of, surprised. Our defense do look pretty nice. I mean, granted, it is the first game, so we'll see how that goes. But, man, we're getting beat 19-10, so maybe, maybe this Pittsburgh defense is legit. Maybe it is real.
It's real. The steel curtain's real.
We will see. I mean, the game's not over yet. We might pull it off still. There's still time on the clock.
Okay.
I'm going to say we're not going to win or lose. Big Shaw, what do you think about this matchup?
Well, right now, it's a pretty good matchup, but they do have Big Ben behind center. You got Juju Smith-Schuster. So, so far, Pittsburgh is doing good and they're about to score again. So, they got too many weapons with Pittsburgh, and the Giants defense, I say, they're doing pretty good. But like you said, it's the first game of the season. It's been no preseason. So, it's going to get better with time with the Giants, but they're not going to win, though, for sure.
All right, Mr. Brown, I'm afraid to let you go. Go ahead and go.
I mean, all I'm going to say is I told you Pittsburgh was going to win. It wasn't like it was too close team. You talking about a team, like I said, that has one of, if not the best defense in the league. You talking about a veteran quarterback. You talk him with his wide receiver back. He's healthy. They have a good O-line.
He's hungry.
You act like this Pittsburgh. You were honestly acting like this Pittsburgh Steelers team was trash. Like, I don't understand how do you underestimate the Steelers and then give your Giants a whole lot of credit. Now, I will say this. Danny Dimes, he has 222 yards currently right now, but he has 2 interceptions.
That's not good.
Like I said, Saquon Barkley, I love him. I think he's a very good running back. I'm talking about a Penn State guy. I rock with him. But 15 carries, 6 yards. I mean, you said he was the Emmitt Smith and the Barry Sanders put together. Like I said, he's a guy that's going to get 2 yards, 3 yards, 4 yards, then a big pop. Now, do I blame him as much as his O-line? He doesn't have the same O-line as Zeke did. But, you still have to make plays. Barry Sanders didn't have an O-line for years. And he made plays. So you talk about holding everybody accountable. You need to hold Saquon accountable.
Saquon got to get it going, man.
Then when I look at your receivers, you kept talking about Shepard, and then one guy that you never mentioned, who I knew was nice, was Slayton. He's having the best game right now. I probably zoned you out. I'm sorry because you was going on. I wasn't listening. But
you got to remember, Golden Tate is not playing. You got to remember that though. Too.
I mean, that wouldn't have made the difference. Let's be honest. This Pittsburgh Steelers defense is real. When you say you call him the best running back in the NFC East, you call him, the second best running back. I heard you call him at times. I don't know if you slipped up. I heard you call him at times the best running back in the league. I don't see none of these best running backs in the league with 15 carries for 6 yards. Now, I'm not going to go, too crazy because it's not like I expected this Giants team to play any better. I knew what they were. I knew they were young. Their nucleus is young. So as long as they played hard, which most of the night they played hard, then I wasn't going to go at them and go at them crazy because I knew what to expect. I knew this Pittsburgh Steelers team was maybe going to come off rusty because Big Ben didn't play last year, and I knew they were going to pick it up in the second half. And right now, they're moving the ball at ease. It's not nothing that I didn't expect. Like I said, as long as the Giants play hard, I had no problems. The only thing I'm questioning is Saquon. Everything else I expected out of this team. Well, I'm not surprised. I'm not mad. I'm even kill. I don't have to go off because it's not like it's everything I expected, Freddie. There's no reason for me to get out the character when I knew everything was going to happen right now.
Well, I mean, you can't put Saquon at the main question because, I mean, like you're saying, they playing an elite defense to get the Pittsburgh.
But you're going back on your words because when I said all that, when I said all that on and off camera, you said it doesn't matter because Saquon is Emmitt Smith and is like Barry Sanders having a baby. Those guys went against great defenses in those throughout their career.
Yeah, they made that.
Barry Sanders had no offensive line year after year after year, went against top defenses year after year after year, and he made plays. So don't go back on your words. We were just talking about holding stars accountable. We talk about this every day, man. You holding people accountable.
You gotta hold
you want to hold everybody else accountable, but people on your team right now. You got to hold Saquon accountable. Not saying that he is the reason why they're losing right now. I'm not going to sit up here and put the sole blame on him. But like I said, when you have a guy 15 carries, 6 yards, 0.4 yards per carry, then that's a problem. When you're talking about he's supposed to be one of the best running backs in the league, that's a problem for anybody that have him on their fantasy team. Because I know a lot of guys that drafted him over some very good running backs. I mean, I've seen some people draft him over Zeke. I've seen some people draft him over Kamara, Cook.
They should have.
I know. I'm just saying. All I was saying was the people that started him today are upset. That's all. That's what I was saying.
Guess what? He knows he had to be better, but guess what? Also, the coach had to be better. Put him in a better position. Stop just handing him the ball. You know you're going against an elite defense. Maybe throw some pitch on the outside. Maybe do something different than just give it straight down the middle. That's predictable. He
has 4 receptions for 46 yards, so it's not like they didn't go and throw him the ball, Freddie.
I understand it.
We're talking about the running game. I'm pretty sure we're going to look at the stats. We're going to look at the highlights, and he had more than just inside runs. I mean, when you run the ball for 15 times, it's going to be more than just halfback dives, more than just lining up an eye per. I'm pretty sure they tried to get it to him on a run, on a pitch, or a jet sweep, or stretch. I'm pretty sure they did all that, Freddie. All I'm saying is that you went against a great defense, which I said this was going to happen, and you said it doesn't matter. So now I'm telling you, it matters. I'm not holding Saquon to blame, and you keep saying the coach, but you had all this faith in this coach. So I don't know where you're going. You say one thing, and then you come on air and say another, Freddie.
Yes,
you're going back and forth. Freddie, you said the other day, oh my God, we're going to win this game. Look at our head coach. This is what he told me. We have a new head coach. Look at our offensive coordinator. He told me all these things, and right now it's 1910. It's 1910 with 7 minutes to go, and Pittsburgh is about to steal.
Let me go
again. Yeah.
Let me go, please. You're talking like you got a tape recorder listening to what I'm saying, okay? Second of all, this Giants team, they are for real. They are good. I'm not worried about it at all. One game do not write us off.
You're completely right.
And this game not over yet. I mean, they're still down. They still have a chance to come back and win.
No, they don't.
Go ahead. I've seen bigger leads come back this amount of time. They can make a comeback.
Seen Daniel Jones do it?
We don't know. We're gonna find out into the game.
Okay.
We don't know yet.
Okay.
But let's keep it moving to the next game. We have the Denver Broncos and the Tennessee Titans. Me personally, I know this Denver team is loaded with talent. I'm taking the Titans just because Von Miller's not playing for the Titans. I do believe this for the Broncos, but I do believe this Tennessee Titans team have a lot to prove this year. They want to make their statement. They want to let them know that they have arrived. Derrick Henry will go off tonight, I believe, and I believe Ryan Tannehill will show us why he deserved that contract that he got over the summer. What is you guys' thought on that?
Well, Von Miller's gone, so that kind of puts my arrow towards the Titans. But Denver has a lot of talent. They got my guy Jerry Jeudy from Alabama, so we got 2 running backs, Melvin Gordon and
Lindsey.
Yeah, Lindsey. I think they're going to run the ball a lot with them 2 guys, and they got a pretty decent quarterback. He'll be a star in 2 to 4 years. Remember what I said? He'll be a star soon. So they got the firepower in Denver, but Tennessee is just too much, man. Who's going to stop Derrick Henry? You got Von Miller going. That's your glue right there. So Tennessee's going to win that game.
Yeah, I have to agree, but this is the thing about Denver. I understand Von Miller is gone, but Bradley Chubb is returning back. He's healthy. This is a dude in his rookie year that had double-digit sacks. He's going to be a Von Miller 2.0, and what I'm talking about is how Elvis Dumerville helped Von Miller. You see what happened. Von Miller's only going to help Bradley Chubb, and Bradley Chubb is just going to replace that role for the next 5 to 10 years. Yeah. They also added Jarrell Casey, took him from Tennessee. Not saying this dude is the best lineman in the game, but he's going to help, stop the run. You're not going to stop Derrick Henry, but what you can do is try to slow it down. Then you went in, you have a Kareem Jackson, you have an AJ Boye, so they have good D backs. And then on the offensive side, yes, they add Melvin Ingram. And without Cortland Sutton playing tonight, Jerry Jeudy is really that's the problem. Without him, I'm kind of leaning towards more Tennessee because you're missing your number one. You have Jerry Jeudy, he's playing his first game. You have the running backs, you have Noah Fant. You got a good team. One thing I would give Denver is when you have a young quarterback, the best thing to do is surround him by a lot of talent.
Yeah,
that is the best thing to do. And I love what Denver did. You have two running backs that can go back and forth. You have the receivers, you have a tight end. So they surrounded Drew Lock with talent. But with that being said, with Cortland Sutton now, it's going to be hard for them.
It is.
And I like Tennessee. I love their roster. They have no holes, especially in their starting lineup. Adding to Vic Beasley, adding to Jadeveon Clowney. Oh, my God, that's a big improvement.
They're going to put pressure on
the I think it's going to be close, though. I don't think it's going to, be a blowout. If I had to predict the score, I would probably say around 24-14. It's going to be close, I think, throughout the game. But I think it's going to be a lot of runs. Both teams are going to run the ball a lot. It's going to be a lot of, this game is going to be one in the trenches, in my opinion.
Yeah.
All right. Cool. Let's keep the subject going. I'm like time pushing for time.
All
right. After seeing the Cowboys play last night, they lost to the Rams. Did Dak Prescott show you why he's worth that money? Big Sean, she is shaking your head. I see that you're ready for it. Tell me, is he worth the money?
Dak Prescott ain't worth none of that money. When Patrick Mahomes got paid, Patrick Mahomes earned it. Yes, he told us why he earned that money. Dak Prescott last night, I'm not going to blame it all on Dak Prescott, but some of it was Dak Prescott. The offensive line, and it was just a big mess last night, especially when Aaron Donald blew that whole offensive line up last night. He not Dak Prescott tomorrow.
Talk about it, man. Let's talk about it.
He literally beat that whole offensive line by himself. And when he hit Dak Prescott, Jerry Jones was mad, man. Jerry Jones was mad. So now this is his make or break year, Dak Prescott. Yes. He's going to be out of there. Something's got to happen. And it's got to happen quick. He ain't got no defense. So you got rid of
Byron Jones.
So you got rid of him for it. Then you let Clinton Dix go, so you don't have nothing. Go get Earl Thomas. If you want to do something, go get Earl Thomas.
I don't even think they want to get him. I don't even know if he's going to go there, which is sad.
They're not even trying. You got one of the best safeties in the game.
On the market. And he openly said a couple years ago he wants to go to Dallas. So why not make it? Must be something that we don't know.
Yeah, it's something we don't know.
It must be something we don't know.
Yeah, but back to Dak Prescott, he's not worth the money. He's not worth the money.
I tell folks all the time, I believe Dak Prescott can be a good quarterback, but I believe sometimes him and the Cowboys want him to do too much. They want him to be an Aaron Rodgers. And really, it's okay to want that things, but you have to know where you're at right now. I think the best way, he needs to be a good game manager. And there's nothing wrong being a game manager. You have an elite running game with Ezekiel Elliott. You have a great offense. This offensive line, not like it was in the past, but it's still a decent offensive line. You have a CD Lamb that you brought in. You have a Amari Cooper, Michael Gallup. Understand that, but guess what? You have an offense that can carry itself. Russell Wilson was a game manager at one point.
Yeah.
Tom Brady was a game manager at one point. And it's okay being a game manager, making big throws when needed. But sometimes I believe, like last night, they did a little bit too much. Instead of giving the ball to Ezekiel Elliott, then let him if you can go for that 4th and 1 instead of kicking the field goal. I was wondering, why are they passing the ball when Aaron Donald's all up in this dude's face every possession? Every possession, Aaron Donald made his presence be felt. Instead of them giving it to Ezekiel Elliott, didn't y'all see his dude tattoo on his stomach say, feed me? Instead of feeding him the ball, they want to pass the ball. And that's why being said, sometimes they want Dak to do a little bit too much. And when the obvious play is to give the ball to Ezekiel Elliott. And Chris, to that, you say what?
I say the same thing. When I look at Zeke, 22 rushes, 96 yards. It was a play that's, the picture is kind of going viral right now. It's 4 guys in front of him with about 6 yards to go, and he still scores. Like, Zeke is a monster. Don't get it messed up. With that O-line, without that O-line, what Zeke is going to do, he's going to run you over. He's not going to juke you, spin over you. He might jump over you. But, he can do all those things. But the first thing he's going to do is lower his shoulder and run right through you. And we know Ezekiel Elliott is a dog. I'm going to give credit when credit is due. He's a dog. But going on Dak Prescott, I don't think he's worth the money.
No.
I mean, look at the quarterbacks that got paid. Most of them already have one thing in common. That's that ring. Pat Mahomes, you seen what he did. You know, even though Deshaun Watson didn't win a ring, the dude is proven right now. We know what he can bring. When I look at Dak Prescott, I mean, 25 for 39. When you have a dominant running game, I feel like that running game is more proven than this passing game right now.
Yeah.
It's proven that they can win running the ball. They really haven't proven that they can win passing. Now, you have some weapons out there. Let's recognize the talent. They have some weapons, but are they going to win with those weapons? We don't know, because Dak Prescott, is not the most accurate quarterback. I am going to give him credit. He's a good quarterback. Like Freddie said, he can be a game manager. A game manager is not always a guy that's only going to throw 10 to 15 yards. He's going to be a guy that knows when to take the shots, that knows when to rely on a running back, and it just makes winning plays. Dak Prescott right now just has to make winning plays, because when you all have all that talent around you, it should be no excuses. When you have all the hype around you, it should be no excuses. Like right now, you have Amari, you have CeeDee Lamb, you got Gallup, you got Ezekiel Elliott, you got Tony Pollard, you got all these guys. You still have Tyron Smith. You have all these guys, and you're not proving anything. So he's not worth the big money. And if he wants the big money, he might as well just go, because in my opinion, what he does, right, he can scramble. He's going to get a few yards when he runs, but at the end of the day, I feel like anything he can do, that Andy Dalton can do, honestly. So if he's talking about he want that big money, just trade him, get rid of him, because let him walk, because he's not bringing anything special. Deshaun Watson is special,
real special.
Okay, Patrick Mahomes is special. These are special quarterbacks that just got paid. We know these dudes are special. There's another guy that I'm thinking of, but I know if I name him, people gonna look at me crazy. But he got paid and he is special, and he has one thing that Dak Prescott doesn't have, and that's a ring. Now Dak Prescott, good quarterback, not worth all that money, especially not worth no top quarterback in the league money. No. If he wants that, you got to go somewhere else. That's a bad team that needs a quarterback, because you're not worth it. You haven't won anything. You haven't went into a deep playoff run. You haven't, all those passing yards he had last year didn't translate to wins. That's all I'm going to say. If he wants the money, he has to win. Yeah.
But if this was Tony Romo, would he get it? Don't you think Jerry Jones would have paid him his money? Because let's not forget, Romo haven't took a big playoff run neither. So if this was Tony Romo, do you think that this Dallas Cowboys team organization would pay him?
I think so.
I think they like Tony a little bit more, and Tony was there a little longer. Yeah. But now I will say this: you are right. How both of them really never went in a run. They're both very good quarterbacks, and I feel like if they wanted to get paid, they'd have to go elsewhere. So I don't know. I feel like they do kind of like, but I think Dak Prescott is he's a good fit. They just need to make sure he knows his role. His role should not be throwing for 40 yards. Throwing 40 times a game. And he's only completing 25, and then he's not even, having a Aaron Rodgers type numbers. He had it last year, but like I said, did it translate to wins? When you were winning games, who was that workhorse? It was Ezekiel Elliott. Do you have to trade one of those weapons and then readjust your offensive line? Because right now, Aaron Donald, yes, did this thing, but they had other guys that was also getting after Dak. So do you have to trade one of those weapons in order to help that offensive line? Because like I said, man, at the end of the day, the games are won in the trenches. Why they were winning games with Zeke? Because they had an O-line that could pound you and pound the ball. But now without that O-line and they want to pass, it's not looking good. And to speak on what Shaw said about that defense is terrible. Van Der Esch is out. Sean Lee is out. You have a very good linebacker core. That's nice. But when you look at your whole defense, you can argue it's between y'all and the Giants, who has the, no offense to the Giants. Right now, to give an update, they're losing 26-10. But it's between them two. It's between them two as the worst defense. Washington football team, they have a top 8 defensive line. The Eagles went out and got 2 of the top 20 cornerbacks. They let go of Byron Jones. They let go of Ha. You're not even going to try to get Earl Thomas. So that defense to me is the problem. You let Los Angeles do whatever they want, and sometimes you can argue Los Angeles is conservative because this time they can take shots that don't do it. It's time they can, make big plays and they don't do it. Sometimes you look at them and conservative. So when you go against a big play team, who knows what's going to happen? Who knows? You understand you need a defense to win, but quarterbacks can take over. We've seen Pat Mahomes take over. We've seen Watson. We've seen Wilson. Can Dak Prescott take over and win games? And until he does that, Freddie, to answer this question one last time, he's not worth that money.
No,
it's surprising. We mentioned the defense. You have a dude by the name of DeMarcus Lawrence. Honestly, the dude have been a no-show ever since he got the contract. Nobody really want to call him on it, but I mean,
where he been?
Yeah, the dude have not shown a presence.
Didn't show up last year at all.
He wasn't nowhere.
So where is that dude at? I mean, but let's stick with the Cowboys.
Mm-hmm.
Is the Cowboys still America's team, Big Shot?
No. Oh,
No.
I'm sorry. I'm sorry.
No, you might as well the Chiefs is.
Mm-hmm.
Give it to the Chiefs.
Yeah, I mean, if you'd asked this question 2-3 years ago, it's Patriots, right? Because they still had Tom Brady, they still had that team, they were still going to the Super Bowls. So honestly, ever since I want to say after the Patriots won their first 3, they should have been America's team because I'm 19 years old, haven't seen the Cowboys in a deep playoff run, haven't won anything, if I'm not mistaken, since the mid-90s. This is 2020. How you are America's team? If you're America's team, you're not representing us, right?
No.
You're not representing us, right? Can't say you didn't have talent because you went in and you got some top guys on that team. They just have not won anything. Yeah. So right now, how it stands, they're not America's team. No. And if anybody believes that, you're delusional.
The fans believe it.
Yeah, you were America's team back in the day, even though the Pittsburgh Steelers is winning Super Bowls more than you. You were America's team in the 90s. Yeah, y'all had y'all run, a very good run, 3 out of 4.
Yeah.
I recognize talent, and I love Deion Sanders. I love Michael Irvin. I think Troy Aikman is overrated, but we don't have to get into that right now.
Oh, man.
But at the end of the day, y'all won games. Y'all won Super Bowls. What are y'all doing right now to be called America's team? You're not doing anything. You haven't done anything in over 20 years. You're not America's team.
Say something to beat for me, my friend.
And they're not going to do nothing either.
It's not all.
They got too much talent in Dallas, and they can't do anything. Maybe it's the quarterback. We can't say it's the coach. They got rid of him. So
well, let's take that back, Big Show.
Huh?
Last year they are tired of this quarterback that do this a lot. They got a quarterback that did this yesterday. Literally, he did that. I mean, he did nothing to stop the bleeding at all yesterday. How can you call yourself America's team?
It's not America's team.
When aren't we America? Don't they call this the greatest country of all time? Well, why are we represented by a piece of mediocre? I mean, year after year after year, you hear the same thing from Cowboy fans. We going to the Super Bowl. We going far. Just watch us. Just wait.
Every year.
At the end of the season, they cannot be found. I'll be like, where were y'all at when, I want you to keep the same energy from the beginning to the end. And, like I said before, Cowboy fans, if you're listening, hold Jerry Jones accountable. Stop going to the games. Well, I don't know if you can now.
We can't go to the game.
Stop buying the merchandise. Stop watching them. This team is dead awful. Stop supporting them. Once you do that, then Jerry Jones, because I believe it's not the coach problem. It's not the quarterback problem. It's his problem. Nobody knows what this dude want to be. He wants to be the owner. He wants to be the GM. He wants to be the coach. He wants to be all of it. But guess what? Under him, they will never win another championship. And by that being said, they are not America's team.
Freddie, I got a couple things to say about that. Yes, you can play. I'm sorry. I'm just looking at the game and Daniel Jones almost getting demolished. But back onto this topic, right? With Jerry Jones, you can say he's the problem. You can say he's the common denominator from year after year after year. But I will say one thing, let's be real. This team has had talent throughout the years.
Yes, sir.
So can you really blame Jerry Jones? I mean, you went out and you had listen, they had talent on that team that didn't perform. That's not his fault. He went out and then made sure that. How is it his fault? He's not on the field.
They have talent every year, Chris. It's his fault.
So how is that his fault?
You have too many questions. Right now, why would you go into a season this year knowing that you done paid everybody and their mamas on this team? I mean, let's just be real.
How is all this his fault? He's not on the field playing. Okay, then I'm a rebuttal.
You overpaid for Ezekiel Elliott, in my eyes. I don't think you had to get a dude that high of a contract. You overpaid for Amari Cooper. In my eyes, I think you could have gotten a little bit cheaper. You overpaid for DeMarcus Lawrence because he's been a no-show ever since then. So in my eyes, if I'm Dak Prescott, I'm looking at them like, whoo, man, they paying them dudes, overpaying them dudes. Well, you might as well overpay me. So
he's the quarterback.
I got two things. Go ahead, Freddie. I got two
To
things.
me, when you have questions going into the season like that, and a quarterback is looming, or that the headline looming over his head, is the owner going to pay him? I think that's a distraction to the team. And then it don't take much to distract these dudes. I mean, you seen a dude. I mean, I know this was a while back ago, but you had a dude go leave practice, go to a department store, stole some cologne and some underwear. I mean, they've done a whole bunch of stuff. I mean, I'm just very surprised they did not have one player get in trouble last year. That should be a Super Bowl within itself for them, honestly.
All right, now let me say something, right? There's other teams that had contract problems going into the season and it never bothered them. I mean, look at the New England Patriots. It was for year after year. It's been for years. They've been saying, "Oh, is Tom Brady going to be done?" They had a whole Jimmy Garoppolo scandal. Not a scandal, but I'm saying they had a guy. Bill Belichick had a guy that he was ready to replace Tom Brady. Did it let him bother him? No. He still went on and went to the Super Bowl after the Super Bowl. I don't want to hear that though. I don't want to hear that, Freddie. I don't, because there's a couple guys I can throw out that been in the same foot that had their owners. Exactly. Like this Dallas Cowboys team is not one of 100. They're not the first team to have, questions in the front office, questions around them. At the end of the day, when you get on the field, you're supposed to block all that out. Freddie, as a player, that should not bother you if you're going to get paid or if you're not going to get paid. Because let me tell you why. If you want to get paid, you're going to perform. So I don't blame Jerry Jones for what's happening right now. Yes, he does some things, but at the end of the day, he's not on that field. This team has had talent. I'm going to be real. I'm an Eagles fan. This team has had talent year after year after year. That is not Jerry Jones' fault that they can't get it done on the field. And with the guys, they overpaid. They did not overpay for Zeke because Zeke is one of the best running backs in that game. Without him, this team would be trash. Amari Cooper would have left and got paid anywhere else. I think you let go of you get rid of him. That passing offense is not what it is right now.
They did.
He is a bona fide number one. Michael Gallup is in the number one, and CeeDee Lamb is not ready to be a number one. Now, you did overpay for the DeMarcus Lawrence. You should have kept Byron Jones.
Should have.
But on the offensive side, you didn't overpay for those two guys. You talking about Zeke is the best running back in the NFC East. Can't say Saquon has did nothing tonight.
Nope.
So please don't that out there. Year after year after year, Zeke always has a better year than Saquon ever since Saquon has been in the league.
No, not the first year, Chris. No, he didn't. He had the same exact. I'm positive they put up the same numbers, but Saquon Barkley did less attempts with the bad offensive line. So let's not go there, sir.
At the end of the day, Zeke is a good running back, and they didn't overpay because he could have went anywhere else and got a big payday just like Le'Veon did.
No. Don't be disrespectful. So who's the number? Who do you call the best running back in the league?
In the league?
In the league?
In the NFL right now, it's McCaffrey.
Okay. He got a 4-year contract extension of $64 million.
Okay.
Do you know what Zeke Elliott's contract was, sir?
Please say it.
$90 million.
He earned it, though.
He earned it.
But he's better than Christian McCaffrey.
He's a very good running back. He's not no slouch.
No, but he's better than Christian McCaffrey.
Listen.
McCaffrey. That's what.
Let me tell you this. He showed it on the field. Don't act like he's out here running. Don't act like he's out here running for 600 yards, Freddie. Please, we can pull up the stats.
I get paid the best
because Christian McCaffrey is more versatile. As in, he does it more. He has to do more for that team. That's why he's having the best numbers. Don't act like
he's not getting paid more than Ezekiel Elliott.
Ask Carolina. You mad at Zeke for getting a payday? You mad at him for doing what's best for him?
They didn't have to get paid.
Freddie. Okay, so how was that Zeke's fault?
I'm not saying it's Zeke, folks. I'm sure I'm Dak Prescott. I'm saying you overpaying those dudes. You gonna overpay me.
But Dak Prescott sucked.
Exactly. Prescott has not went out there and earned it.
Let me say this. This dude is a leader. This dude is. I mean, he's a leader. I mean, you gotta give him
right. What victories, Freddie?
He did everything Jerry Jones wanted him to do with all the
stuff. Freddie, he has not won.
All that stuff.
He has not won, Freddie. Zeke has led them to victories by running the ball. Dak Prescott has not led them to victories by passing it. It was adamant last year. He had all them passing yards, but they didn't even make the playoffs. So to stop saying so don't say they overpaid for Zeke when Zeke's value has been placed here. Okay, but listen, if they didn't pay for him, he was going to leave. So would you rather have Dak Prescott or Zeke Elliott?
He would not have left.
He would have left. What do you mean? He was not there in training camp. He was going to be gone. So answer this: who would you don't know? Freddie, you
No,
seen
answer the question.
Le'Veon leave Pittsburgh. So who's more important, Dak or Ezekiel Elliott?
We
Ezekiel
both agree
Elliott.
it's Ezekiel Elliott, but they
Okay, so
overpaid
then
for
why?
him.
So you can overpay for a guy that's more important to your team. What team is
No,
not
no,
going to do that?
I will
What
say
team?
this.
What team is not going to overpay for the guy that's more important, Freddie?
I will say this. They would have let Zeke live before Dak Prescott for one reason. What other quarterback was they going to get to take Dak's place? What
Andy
other
Dalton
quarterback?
can do the
Oh,
same
please.
thing. He can't do the same
please.
thing Dak Prescott is doing. Has Dak Prescott won the Super Bowl? No. Has
Oh.
Andy Dalton? No. Has Andy Dalton led his team to actual playoff appearances? Yes.
Yes.
So yeah, he's not
Dak
doing
Prescott
anything
have too.
special. He's not doing anything special though.
That is
So
your
you saying
future. If you
but
believe
you're-
that's your
but no-
future quarterback, if you
but you're
believe
saying-
that's your future
but Freddie-
quarterback, you need to pay him.
They're
I mean,
not
Freddie,
gonna-
you're saying he's doing something special on the field. He has not done anything special on the field, so he don't
Chris,
deserve special
What are you talking
quarterback
about nothing
money.
special? I'm a Giants fan. I'm about to take up for the Cowboys. You've seen what this dude do this rookie season. You've seen this dude take this team to the playoffs, and the only reason
on
why
his
they lost,
finger?
they
What's on his
lost to the
finger?
baddest man on the planet, Aaron Rodgers.
What's on his finger
them
though?
teams
What's
have been
on
to
his
more
finger?
playoffs. Huh?
What's on his finger? What's on his? He don't have no ring, so you can't talk
A
to me
lot
about
of people
winning
don't have
when he's
rings.
not winning the big
A
game.
lot of people don't have rings. Do you believe Lamar Jackson gonna get paid? He don't have a ring. Deshaun
gonna get
Watson
paid.
don't have a ring. He just got
But
paid.
listen. Look
He get
at the value difference. Look at who's been around this Dallas Cowboys team compared to who's been around this Houston Texans team. Look at the ownership. Look at the coaching. Dallas
But if
checks
you
the
gonna hold
box
them
on all
accountable, you
those
gotta hold
things.
the same way. Vice versa.
I do hold Deshaun
No, you
Watson
can't say
accountable.
what he got on his finger. Deshaun Watson don't have it on his finger.
But let me tell you the difference, though. Deshaun Watson is more valuable to the Houston Texans than Dak Prescott is more valuable to the Cowboys. That's why you get paid. You get paid off your value. Even if you don't have a ring, you're going to get paid off your value. Lamar Jackson, do I believe he's going to go out and get a Patrick Mahomes deal? No. I think he's going to get about 4 or 5 year extension. But he's valuable, so he's going to get paid, but he has to earn it. Russell Westbrook. Russell Wilson. He earned it, and his value is there. Deshaun Watson, not only he's earning it, but his value is there. You cannot tell me Dak Prescott is the most valuable quarterback for this team. He's not even the most valuable quarterback. He's not even, honestly, to be honest, if I look at all the teams in the division, I even say Daniel Jones right now is more valuable to the Giants than Dak is to the Cowboys. Because we want to replace
Chris, but I'm just saying, when you're Dak Prescott and you see other guys around you getting paid, getting overpaid, then you say, okay, give me more than what I'm worth.
But how is that going to affect his play on the field? Because if he thinks he's worth that money, he's going to play like he's worth that money. He's not going to play worse, Freddie. So I don't understand what you're saying. If he thinks he's worth big time money, he's going to play like a big time player. He's not going to get big time money until he plays like a big time player. Did he play like a big? Answer this for me. Did he play like a big time player last night?
Of course not. He got. I mean,
okay. Keep answering this. Who was more valuable to that team last night? Dak Prescott or Zeke Elliott?
We already know Zeke is more valuable.
Answer the questions. Can you answer the questions for me?
Zeke.
Okay, so then you seeing where I'm going right here. Dak Prescott cannot ask for the no, Freddie. Who played better, Zeke Elliott? Who got paid Zeke? Who got paid Zeke Elliott? Who played good?
I'm not talking about value, Chris.
But listen, but you're saying that but you were saying from the jump is that it's going to be problems because Dak Prescott didn't get this money. If he wants this money, he's going to have to prove his value and do something contributional to this team. He has not done that, and if he wants that money, he has to go out night after night and play like he deserves that money. He has not done that.
Let me ask you a question. We run out of time. I know that.
No, we didn't run out of time because we had longer shows, an hour, 30 minutes, out of 40 minutes.
We going to your team now. We have the Philadelphia Eagles. They paid Carson Wentz that money, but guess what? They on that value.
Hell yeah, he did. Hell yeah, he did. Let me talk about it. You ain't see that Super Bowl run?
Did what? Lose? Get hurt? What have he done?
He went. Okay, let's talk about it. He went 11-2, and we were going to win that Super Bowl with him. To anybody that said we weren't going to win without a quarterback that nobody can stop it, bro. You sound stupid. He went 11-2, and nobody can touch him. Okay, Nick Foles had trouble in the playoffs, especially against the Falcons. You mean to tell me with our starting quarterback we wouldn't have dominated that game? Come on, you're delusional. You're not being.
What have y'all done recently, Chris?
Okay. Who went to the Cowboys? I mean, who went to the playoffs year after year? The Eagles. Who didn't go to the playoffs last year? The Cowboys. Who had less talent and went to the playoffs last year, Freddie? The Eagles. So what are you talking about? What did he do? He's leading his team to the playoffs.
Did you see him Sunday night? What have he done?
Hell yeah, I did. Did you see the O-line? Did you see the O-line? Did you see the O-line?
It does not matter. You have to get it done. What has he done in the playoffs? We've seen a Dak Prescott take a team to a playoffs. We haven't seen that out of Carson Wentz.
Let's talk about it. One, he tore his ACL. Do I have to go on the list on quarterbacks who tore their knee up? 2, he had a bad back and still threw for 3,000
So he's not
yards.
worth the money.
Let me finish. 3, when you have a guy that's targeting you in the playoffs, I can send the clip in the group chat where Jadeveon Clowney led with his head and knocked him out. Do you think he's going to get up and be the same? No, that happened. Any quarterback, your beloved, Daniel Jones would have got head bunted by Jadeveon Clowney. The same thing would have happened. What he did was in that season, we won the Super Bowl. We would not have been there without him. Everybody knows that. Everybody in the world knows that. What he did is take his team to the playoffs with no talent around him. Dak Prescott, year after year after year, we all know it has the most talented team you can argue in the league. But has he led the playoffs? No, last year, everybody said it was by far one of the most talented teams in the league. It was by far the most talented team in the NFC East. Yeah. Did he lead the team to the playoffs? No. So you're saying, what did he do? You see Carson Wentz's value because he's leading his team to the playoffs. Okay, I understand he got hurt last year. I would send a clip. When the guy targets you and hits you in the head, you're going to have a concussion, okay? If you haven't played football, when you get hit head first, it hurts. Trust me.
Chris, so but with that being said, if he's that fragile, he don't need to get that contract. Because with dependability,
I will send you the clip. It's not like a dude tapped his ankle. Okay,
yeah, he got his head knocked out that game.
He got his head knocked off, and then when somebody hits you in your knee is going to freaking break. We've seen it after quarterback after quarterback after quarterback. Do I have to send a clip?
So, Chris, let me ask you a question. If you're let me ask you a question. If you're a general manager and you see that your quarterback year after year, something causing him to get injured, his fault or the other person's fault, are you going to pay him that big money? And if you know that's the case.
If I see a quarterback on the field that is showing his value on the field, that show he can win the game, I'm going to pay him. And then what I'm going to do is surround him with a good offensive line. Well, right now, the reason why we let up 9 sacks is because our starting all-pro right tackle is hurt, because our starting best right guard in the league is out for the season, because our going to start left tackle towards bicep. We have 3 new guys on the offensive line. That's going to happen to any team, Freddie. It's common sense. When you're going to get to the top 8 defensive line, you're going to, and your offensive line is trash. You got 3 guys in there that shouldn't be playing. I love JP, but it was Andre Diller's turn. I love JP. You talking about the right side, you got somebody that was his first playoff game. What do you think's going to happen? Okay, you talking about fragile. Dude, he's not fragile. He had 2 freak injuries.
Yeah, that's all.
He had 2 freak injuries, Freddie. Somebody targeted him for 1. He played when he should have and still threw for 3,000 yards, but he didn't want to cause more damage for 2. Yeah. And for 3, I was sending you the clip against the Rams where he was busting they behind that entire game like he did everybody that season. Everybody knew he was going to MVP, and somebody cracked his knee, and he still threw a touchdown on a torn ACL. So don't act like people are touching his ankle. Don't act like he's getting pushed. These are freak hard injuries. He's not fragile like a Sam Bradford that's just getting.
No, that was very fragile.
This dude is taking big hits in the pocket, getting up and shaking it off. So don't tell me my quarterback is fragile when all these injuries are freak injuries.
Yeah, I still got faith in Carson Wentz with his injury history. Yeah, that's not his fault on that. I can't lie about that. He's a good quarterback. The GM didn't give up on him. Nobody gave up on him yet. His value is still there, but I think he's going to lead his team this year.
All right. Hey, trust me, I believe in Carson Wentz. I like Carson Wentz. The dude is, I don't care about that. We talking about the Eagles.
Eat that humble pie. The Eagles. Okay, we're going to talk about the Eagles, but I want you to eat this humble pie because you said that your team was going to win. Please look at this.
You did say that, Freddie.
It's week 1, okay? I mean, we talk about the Eagles.
I ate the humble pie when we lost. Can you eat the humble pie right now?
I already ate the humble pie. Can't you see me eating the humble pie? Okay. I mean, can't you see? Baby, do you want me to take a bite out of it, cut a slice out of it?
You have to cut it down in the next couple shows, but we're going to get into that another time. But come on, next topic, Freddie.
Trust me. Hey, I like Carson Wentz. I believe Carson Wentz was the MVP the year he got hurt. I believe that he would have won the Super Bowl. I'm just talking about recently. I believe he's better than Dak Prescott. I believe that he's probably the best quarterback in the NFCs. So, I mean, I'm just saying that I don't think he's worth that money because of injury. That's all I'm saying. But let's change the subject.
Yeah, let's change it. We can change. No, I was just going to say those injuries were freak injuries. You can't really blame him for getting targeted and somebody taking his knee out. It's not like the dude was pushed to the ground. It's not like it was a regular tackle. These are some freak plays. Okay, I understand he has some two crazy injuries that were in crucial moments. But at the end of the day, this dude is a very good quarterback. He's proven he can win with no talent. He's still young. And everybody knows you start your franchise with a quarterback. When we went out and traded up to get this man, we weren't going to let him go because he had two freak injuries. No, what we're going to do is build around him. And that's what we started to do. So, yes, they're going to pay him when he showed what he can do when we have faith in him. Just to speak on it, then we can change the subject. I believe the Dallas Cowboys haven't paid Dak because they don't have that much faith in him like other teams have faith in their quarterback. But let's go on to the next one.
All right. So over the weekend, Mike D'Antoni got he notified the team that he would not return. Mm-hmm. Who do you believe Mike D'Antoni should coach next? We'll start with Big Shaw on this
one. Mike D'Antoni, he's a great coach. I can't take that from him. I'm waiting to see what Milwaukee's going to do. I can see him going there, but I want to see what they're going to do first with that. Or Orlando, I don't know, but I'm picking Milwaukee. But like I said, I want to see what's gonna happen with them first. If they're gonna let them go or not.
Hey, Chris,
I want you to go next, Freddie. I want to hear what you guys say.
I don't believe in Milwaukee. I don't think they're gonna let Bud go. Honestly, I don't. I was leaning toward Philadelphia, but I don't think that's a good fit.
No.
No, sir.
I wouldn't be surprised that is the fit.
No. I'm sorry.
I think he should go back to the team that he was there before, Phoenix Suns. And the reason I say Phoenix, oh no, they got Monty Williams. No,
man.
He need to go to Sacramento. You talking about put a ball in somebody in the point guard?
I like that. I cannot lie. I like that. Go on. I'm gonna say why I like that, but I want you to explain it though. I like that.
And Darren Fox. I mean, you seen what he did with James Harden. I mean, Luke Walton. I mean, I like Luke Walton. I felt like the Lakers shouldn't have fired him in a way because I think he got a wrong hand dealt to him.
He had to fire him,
but I don't think he's the Suns team because I believe he will give the ball to Darren Fox and get that fast tempo like Houston. And you put shooters around him, him and Bagley, if that's his name right, Marvin Bagley
in Sacramento.
Who?
Buddy Hield. Is he in Sacramento too?
Yeah, he's in Sacramento.
They have a lot of players. Go ahead, Freddie, because I like that one right there. That caught me by surprise.
Yeah, like you said, you have Darren Fox. He can kick it out to shooters. Bagley, Buddy Hield. Get him some more shooters, and that team will be dangerous. And with that D'Antoni system, so and it might bring that team back up to relevant because they have not been relevant for years.
Yeah, since
I like that one. I like that one because I think D'Antoni, the best fit for him to be going, he should go to a young team, a team that not an established contender. I think he just needs to start fresh with a young team that has a little core and build them up. And that pick in Sacramento was great. I mean, you have Darren Fox, Buddy Hield, Bogdanovich, you have Bagley, Giles, Harrison Barnes. That team is loaded, and that fast pace, with a guy that's that fast, that'd be nasty. But me. The Sacramento's a good team, but honestly, I wouldn't be surprised if he goes. And I think a team could hire him in as an assistant, a team that's struggling on offense.
Yeah,
because he runs this small ball lineup, but he knows how to gets the best out of his players.
Yeah,
he got the best out of Steve Nash. He put Steve Nash in the best place for him to be victorious. He got the best out of James Harden. I understand James Harden was putting up big numbers with Kevin McHale, but when James Harden led the league in scoring, it was under D'Antoni.
Yeah.
Now, I'm not saying D'Antoni. We all know he's not the best head coach, but what he does bring is an innovative style. So I think a young team could use that. I honestly think any team could use that as an assistant. But head coach, one place he better not go is Philly. If he goes to Philly, I'm not going to say what I'm going to do on air, but just know it's going to be bad.
It's going to be
Mike D'Antoni, go to Philly.
Don't go to Philly.
Trust the process.
That's not that ruins the process because let me just touch on this briefly. He likes small ball. I don't think he's going to want to keep Embiid, and God forbid they trade Embiid. I'm fighting everybody in that organization.
It'd be crazy if they trade him and keep Simmons.
You know how? No, you don't trade none of them. Okay, I don't want to go in depth because I did it a gazillion times. But you don't trade two young stars, two top 20, 25 guys in this league if you're not going to get you don't want assets because you want to surround if you wear and win now. So I'm not trying to trade them for 10 first-round picks. No, if you
I
want to
want
trade,
players.
if you're going to trade Ben Simmons, give me Dame Lillard. If you're going to trade Ben Simmons, give me Devin Booker and Mikal Bridges because
Would you
Ben
take
Simmons'
Giannis?
value. No,
Oh.
he's not going to fit. Ben Simmons is a point guard. Dude had 8 assists.
Talking about for Embiid and Simmons, would you do a 2-for-1?
Hell no. A 2-for-1 for a guy that's supposed to be the best player in the league and can't do nothing in the playoffs, a guy that's begging for help when he already has a talented team, a guy that had the best record in the league. Would I do a 2-for-1? Heck no.
Mm-hmm. But it won't surprise me if they get rid of Simmons.
They shouldn't, man. His value showed his value against Boston. I'm not gonna go, too in depth in it, but I mean, you need a guy to guard all-stars, and he was one of, if not the best guy to do that. And also, like I said, he had 8 assists. Could have had more. He generated the most 3-point shots for a team that has shooters, and then he's only getting better. He hasn't even touched his potential. He hasn't even tapped into it, and he's already averaging 16, 8, and 8. One of the best defensive, if not the best defensive guard in this league. He can guard multiple positions. 4th in the Defensive Player of the Year award, first team all defense. You don't trade him unless you're getting the top 15. You don't trade him unless I'm getting Dame Lillard or Luka or Trey. So we know that's going to happen. So you shouldn't trade him for anything less.
As long as he stay healthy, he'll be okay.
He'll be fine.
Where do you think he going, Big Show? Mike D'Antoni. Oh, you already said it. I'm sorry.
Yeah, Milwaukee. Yeah, I think he could fit there.
I like that.
I don't like it on the defensive side, man.
But that team already had, like, everybody wants to say the Rockets defense, but they have dogs on that defensive team. That's why it worked. They had Russell Westbrook. No, he's not a great defender, but he's a dog. James Harden, he was a dog on defense. PJ Tucker's a dog. Then you went and got Robert Covington, dog. Eric Gordon, he holds his own. You look at Milwaukee, keeping that roster how it is right now. Eric Bledsoe, all-team defensive guy. Giannis, defensive player of the year. Should he win it? No, but he won the award, all-team defense. Brook Lopez, you're getting blocks out of him. Wesley Matthews, two-way player. Chris Middleton, he's going to hold his own. So I don't think it's going to affect them on defense. It might open up their offense. And when you have a shooter at a big man like Brook Lopez, that's a sneaky good pick right there.
Mm-hmm.
All right. Well, let's wrap it up. We each have a minute each to talk about the little playoff games tomorrow. We have the Miami Heat and Boston. So let's go with that topic first. You have Miami led by Jimmy Butler. You have Boston led by Jason Tatum. What are you guys' picks?
I think Boston's going to win that series.
Mm-hmm.
It's not going to be a sweep, but I think Boston will win that series. Boston has a lot of firepower, and I like that Tatum fella. He's something serious. I like Boston in that series.
Man, me personally, I've been saying this the whole playoffs. This Miami team got a bunch of dogs, man.
I'm saying Miami though.
Yeah, Pat Riley built this team, and I wouldn't be surprised. I wouldn't be surprised at ending 6, honestly, because you have a team led by Jimmy Butler. I mean, yes, Boston is good, but I think this Miami team is a little bit better. They have more depth. When you have an Andre Iguodala coming off the bench with a Jay Crowder, I mean, this team is loaded. From Tyler Hero to Jimmy Butler to Bam. I mean, this team. I mean, they have a lot of people. To Kendrick Nunn. I mean, they have people that they can. They're loaded on the offensive end too. I think there's going to be a little bit too much for Jason Tatum to carry this Boston Celtics team. I mean, Jaylen Brown had to step up. You have to step up and be that second dude. To me, I think Marcus Smart has been that the second dude than Jaylen Brown have. And this Miami team will be too much. They will take the heart out of Jason Tatum, and they will finish in 6.
I have to agree. I mean, once Miami beat Milwaukee, they're the obvious favorite to me. You say that the Celtics have firepower, but they really only have Brown, Tatum, Hayward if he returns right now, but I don't know his timetable.
I hope he does.
So taking out him is just Brown, Tatum, and Walker. And Walker has been inconsistent throughout this playoff. There's Jaylen Brown. Jason Tatum has been doing his thing. But when I look at Miami, they have way more firepower. I mean, you got 7 to 8 guys that can get you double digits. This Boston Celtics team cannot do that. They can't. Their benches does not compare to Miami's. And when I look at Miami, they have the dogs, like Freddie said. They have the defenders. And even Brad Stevens said, this team, cutting-wise, defensive-wise, shooting-wise, is the best team he's seen do that since the Golden State Warriors. I mean, this team has dogs and they have shooters. This team has dogs, and they got guys that attack the rack. I mean, when you have a Jimmy Butler in the starting lineup, a Jay Crowder in the starting lineup, a Bam Adebayo in the starting lineup, then you bring an Iggy off the bench, Hero off the bench, and you still got Dragic, you still got Duncan Robinson, Kelly Olynyk. Like this team, first of all, like I said, the Celtics to me don't have that firepower. When you have a Jimmy Butler defender, Iggy defender, Crowder defender, Bam to lock stuff up down low. I mean, I think they can neutralize Boston. Boston cannot. But now I will say this: let me not say they can neutralize them. I think this series is going to be a close 6. I think every game is close. There's going to be no blowouts, maybe 7. But right now, I'm sticking with Miami. I think Miami's going to get it done. Not saying that Boston is trash. I just think Miami by far has the better talent, and the coaching, they can say they're neck and neck, but I'm going with Eric Spoelstra because he got some championships.
Yeah, and I do like Eric Spoelstra too. He's one of my favorite coaches too. So, yeah.
All right, let's get to the next game. And this, I must be honest. I said there was no way. No way.
Put it on the screen, Freddie. Put it on the screen.
Come on, let's roll.
I said there's no way that this Clippers team is going to lose to this Nugget team. And I must say, this Nugget team is embarrassing this Clipper team. And if this Clipper team lose tomorrow night, we might be talking about having another show ourselves. Because somebody, I believe that nobody's going to hold Kawhi Leonard accountable. This dude need to be held accountable just like LeBron James. If this was LeBron James, man, this day would have been slandering his name. They'd be throwing him under the bus. They'd be calling him old. They'd be calling him not the best player. Keep the same energy, people. This Clipper team is too talented. You have too many people to be losing. And hey, don't get me wrong, this Nuggets team is good, but everybody should know this Clipper team should not be losing to this team if they have the best player and Kawhi Leonard as they say they do. You must get it done.
Well, when they gave up that lead, I was like, well, they gotta win this game. If the Clippers don't win this game, you're right. They gotta hold, Kawhi Leonard, responsible because he is considered one of the best players in the NBA. So they have to win this game. If not, what's gonna happen? You have PD-13 there. I don't really care for him as much, but. I think the Clippers they might win the game. It's going to be close. The Nuggets they're hungry too. So don't be surprised if Denver win that game.
Freddie, can I go? Yeah, I think I might be one of the only people in the world that said this from the get-go, and I said this before game 1. I had Denver in 7. Now look where we at. Freddie said I was crazy, just going in 5.
I'm not crazy.
People said I was crazy. Look where we at. We're at game 7 right now. Who has the momentum? This Denver Nuggets team. Okay, everybody wants to talk about the Clippers, who they have, all these defensive guys. How you hold them accountable? You say you have all these defenders, yet you blow lead after lead after lead. You say Pat Bev is the best guard defender. Man, ask anybody in the league. Nobody believes that. They're picking Drew Holiday over Pat Bev any day of the week. It's not even close. You say you have all these guys. Like Freddie said, hold people accountable because right now,
hold them accountable, man.
If LeBron blew a 3-1 lead to the Houston Rockets, they would slander that man's name
in the mud.
Every single network, on the ESPNs, on the Foxes, even the news shows will be talking about it. It's not loud enough for me when people talking about Kawhi because when they talk about LeBron in the media, it's loud. You see it everywhere. Yeah. Where's the accountability for Paul George? Where's the accountability for Doc Rivers? Where's the accountability of Kawhi Leonard? Where's the accountability of Pat Bev? Talk about it. Nobody wants to talk about it. So now when they lose this, I want everybody to keep that same energy that they had every year when they talked about LeBron when he was losing, but he never had a team. Now he has a team like this now. Oh, he has a team like this, and you see what he did to this Houston Rockets team. Everybody said Denver. Exactly. Everybody said Denver this, Denver that. They ain't gonna win. Look where they at. It's funny how people say, "Oh, the Lakers were supposed to beat the Rockets," but you don't know how many times I heard people say that the Rockets are going to beat the Lakers. But now that the Lakers won, they want to double back on their word. So please don't double back on this Clippers stuff. When they lose tomorrow night, like I predicted originally weeks ago, I want everybody to hold that whole team accountable. And I will say this, just to speak on this real quick. Everybody says that the Clippers are the best team in the matchup to the Lakers. I hear a lot of people say that. This is look at their rosters. Dude, yes or no? Don't people say the Clippers are the biggest threat to the Lakers?
Yeah,
people say that, right? and then they say the Nuggets, are not a threat to the Lakers. But I will say this:
They
if the
will be.
but if the Nuggets are about to beat the biggest threat to the Lakers, how are they not going to be a threat? I mean, how are they not going to be a threat to the actual team when they beat the quote unquote biggest threat? I'm still going with the Lakers. I feel like they can get it done, but please put respect on this Nuggets team. Okay, you got Jokic, the best offense.
Chris. They ain't no threat to the Lakers, my friend.
Okay, see here you go.
I don't think they're the biggest threat to the Clippers for one reason. Anthony Davis. Nobody, like, you see how the Joker's get in his way. Think about that being Anthony Davis. Nobody on this Clippers
in the West right now. Okay, but in the West right now, who's more of a threat, the Clippers and the Nuggets?
To the Lakers?
Yeah. Okay, let me stop all this now. You're hesitating because a couple shows ago you said the Clippers. All right, so I ain't gonna let you hesitate. But my point being is that people need to put some respect on this Denver Nuggets team. They have the star. I mean, they have the star power in Jokic and Murray. You got a guy coming off the bench right now that next year is going to start and flourish, and Michael Porter Jr. that is not afraid of the big lights. Okay, he's going to go out and hit a big time three like he did. He's going to go out, get some blocks, get some rebounds. You got that guy coming off the bench. You got, Morris coming off the bench. Now, Grant, for game 7, it has to be Paul Millsap has to play his best. Grant has to play his best. Harris has to play his best. Those role players have to play their best. Jokic is going to go off. Jamal Murray, he has to play his best too. I can't even say, Jamal Murray. Jamal Murray has to get it done. But like I said, Denver 7, I said that weeks ago. I can't wait for it to come true tomorrow night. I'm going to get my DMs flooded saying, oh my God, you're the pick. You're the pick.
Kawhi Leonard, how many points he had the other night? 23?
I don't remember, but I know it wasn't enough because if who would have had enough. That's all we gotta say, man.
Yeah, you can't have 20. Yeah. You can't have it in a closeout game like that. That was a closeout game for them. You can't have them in the 20s and you the best player on the team. I mean,
up 3-1. We saw the Lakers got it done. Everybody. The Lakers had a lead. They kind of lost the league, but at the end of the day, the Lakers got it done. Okay. The Clippers need to get it done. Don't say this team because everybody's saying, "Oh my God, they're the favorite. They have the best roster." But then switch up your words when this Nuggets team has came back 3-1. So hold them accountable. Stand on what you say. Like I said from the jump, when they were down 3-1, what did I say? The Nuggets still going in 7. Stand on what you say. I'm tired of people switching up their words. Stand on what you say, and I hold Kawhi accountable. And he is not the best player in the league. And everybody that said that, at Jason on that, LeBron will never let his team, lose a 3-1 because he beats team when he's down 3-1.
LeBron, we know what LeBron James can do when he's back in the corner. We've seen it too many times. So
I need to see it out this Clippers team right now.
I agree with man. We had a wonderful show tonight, man. It was wonderful having Mr. Darren Smith on the show.
Wonderful
his knowledge on the Chiefs. We're definitely gonna keep our eyes out on that team. I mean, we had a great show like we always do.
Yes, sir.
So everybody have 30 seconds to say what they have to say. Big Shaw, we'll let you roll with it.
All right. Well, I want to thank y'all guys again for bringing me on board. And in Pittsburgh, they won. The Giants lost. But today was great. I really enjoyed it. The basketball talk, the football talk. And I hope the Clippers do win tomorrow. Because I want to see them, advance. It's been a long time, since the Nuggets done something. So
you want the Nuggets to advance or the Clippers?
I want the Nuggets to go. I want the Nuggets to go. They're gonna be really hungry tomorrow. So we're gonna see what they're gonna do tomorrow. So that's it, man. I'll be ready for that game tomorrow.
All right, Chris.
Great show. Always a great show with us. We had some great guests. Some great topics. Freddie had me get out of character. I think he likes me, when I get out of character so I can put him, humble him a little bit. I had to humble him about the Giants, had to humble him about some few things. But like I said, man, great show. Cannot wait for Thursday. Cannot wait until, the Nuggets win. And I will say this, Freddie, now that the Giants lost, have you came back down to reality?
Of course not. We're going to win the next couple games. Who
they play next week?
Let's watch it. Let's see who we Well, let me wait to see who we play first before I see, because it might be somebody. We got the Bears next. Yeah, we'll beat Trubisky.
They gonna lose.
We'll win that game. But
let's see who's gonna eat that humble pie next week, man.
Hey, before we go further, I forgot I had to show this. I forgot. Our little advertisement. Make sure you check them out. All right, you guys. Like I said, this is All Sports, All Plays Network, Sports Talk with Freddie and Chris. Moderator, Samuel, Big Sean. Man, we will catch us every Monday and Thursday at 8 p.m. Central. Catch me and Chris every Sunday night for the Sunday night post game show. Man, we love debating sports. You get heated here, but
I got a little heated. You know, you still haven't seen the best. I think you're gonna see it during football season because you missed the Sixers take. But oh man, it's going to get heated throughout the year. I can't wait. Mr. Giants.
But best believe it's nothing but love on this show.
Nothing but love.
Yeah, but yeah, everybody have a good night.
Right.
And we'll see you next time.
Yes.
Deuces.
All right, guys.